There we go. We're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We'll give you a couple minutes to join up before we get rolling, but I'm here with T.A.L. Deason. Welcome to the show, T.A.L.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
excited to have you. Looks like we've got Doug already in the audience. So, hey, Doug.
Nice. What's
Nice
up,
to have you
Doug?
here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about this book. Really, really enjoyed it. And it came out yesterday. Is that right?
Yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday. So now you
Yesterday was the
can.
big day.
Yeah. I read it on Royal Road over the last couple of weeks, and yeah, I'm super excited to get to the audio. I've talked to a bunch of people. I'm mostly an audio person, which is kind of hard with the podcast because I get a lot of
Right.
early books. But yeah, we were just talking about how good the audio is. So,
Yeah, we were talking about it. Like I said, I'm 100% audio. I'm terrible. I don't read. I haven't even read my book other than writing it and then going back and doing edits and things like that. But
yeah,
I don't think I'll ever read it page, start to finish. I'm
Yeah.
just audio guy.
yeah.
That's how I absorb 100% of my media. So I love it.
I think we'll get into this in a little bit, but I think it's wild. Like, I'm kind of a terrible speller. It was one of my worst subjects in grade school and stuff, and here I am a writer. It's wild to me how many barriers people put between them and writing when, yeah, I mean, you can do this. Even if you don't read,
Oh,
you can,
it's wild. So my sister, she might be on, but she is a librarian now. And as I was getting into this, she was asking me some questions, and I'm like, I still get fiction and nonfiction confused. I couldn't tell you what an adjective is. If it wasn't for my editor, it would be terrible. So definitely grammar is not my strong point. And, if you ever think it is, post something on Royal Road.
Right.
They'll let you know real quick. They'll let you know real quick.
I use like a software kind of like Grammarly to just do edits and stuff. And recently I sent my spouse like just a raw chapter that I hadn't sat down and done the edits on, and they were like, "Oh my god, you really don't understand it's."
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, I mean.
So that is and I know we're gonna get to the question later, but like I just post raw on Royal Road, like just let all the trolls
That's
after
brave,
me,
man.
I know.
You need a badge.
And I try to tell them in the comments, like, hey, I'm not touching this until it goes to editing. So it is what it is, right? But it never fails. Like the amount of comments and DMs I get is like, you misspelled this. I'm like, I don't. Somebody will fix it down the road. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, still, that's brave. I'm good on you for putting it out there.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got a few people. We got Doug, BJ, Sabri, Todd, Misty. Yeah, we got a good audience tonight. So welcome everybody.
Yep. Some of those are family. So thanks, family, for the support.
Hopefully you're on like a big screen with a bunch of people watching together. I love that. So for those of you who are new with me tonight, I'm Reck, and I run this podcast Beyond Quests, and we talk to lit RPG and progression fantasy authors about their books. And I love getting people on like T.A.L. here, especially like congratulations, this is your first published book. You're a published author now.
Yeah, I am. It's weird.
Achievement unlocked. Yeah.
Achievement unlocked. I'll still tell everybody I'm just a hobbyist. They got lucky, but
yeah, family, you're gonna have to beat that out of them. At what point are you no longer a hobbyist? You've already got another book banked in the way.
I think when there's $1 million in the bank, I think we can officially say successful author.
Okay,
probably never.
Yeah. Well, we've got Pop on. It looks like Lauren's joined us. So the way this works is I've got a bunch of prepared interview questions I'm going to ask, but there's definitely encourage audience engagement. So if you've got questions that you want to ask T.A.L, we'll get to them. So we're going to talk about Survivor's Descent, Havok Bringer. I don't know.
Havok.
I can't say.
Havok.
Yeah, Havok.
I just dropped a K on there to make it unique.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it works.
It's deeper than that. It does tie into the lore. And
it's easier to find when you search for it. So I'll take it. It has been on Royal Road, but it was released recently, yesterday, released on Amazon and Audible, and it's on Kindle Unlimited too, right?
Yep, Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
And physical should be in the next couple of weeks. We had a little hiccup there, but
Sweet.
it's coming.
Okay. Yeah, and the audio is with Jonathan McLean, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Which means it's good.
It is amazing. Like, it's funny how that worked out. Just the whole process of my start on Royal Road was, I was telling you earlier, I just sat down one day because I was between books and I was like, I've been a nerd for 40 years. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi, video games, all of this. I'd gotten into lit RPG probably a year before that. And, for better or for worse, I was brave enough to say, I could do this. And I posted a chapter, and I remember telling my wife, and I think after 5 chapters, I told my sisters, hey, I've been doing this little thing. I found Royal Road by accident. I think I just Googled where can I post chapter by chapter or something. And started getting followers and, some views, and submitted it to Podium. That was the first, when I finished book 1, I submitted to Podium. I never heard back. And then that's when Moonquill created their partnership with Royal Road. So I was like, why not? I submitted to Moonquill and they picked it up. And I was like, cool. I went from, this is a hobby, I'm online, this is kind of neat, seeing followers and comments and things. And now I get, with a small publishing house, a contract. And then they submitted it to Podium, and Podium picked it up for audio.
Nice.
Which is wild because I never heard back when I submitted, and then I was like, all right, cool. I got an audio contract. And that's really was my end goal. I just wanted an audiobook. And then Podium says, hey, give us your wish list, right? Of like top 5 narrators who would like to do your book. And, obviously it was Luke Daniels. The names are escaping me now, but Primal Hunter.
You're like Nick Podell, Luke Daniels.
Travis Luke Baldry, Daniels, Nick Podell was on there, Travis Baldry. And then Jonathan McLean was on there. And my publisher hit me back and was like, hey, we heard back from Podium. And they said Baldry's booked through like 2030. Luke Daniels, you could buy a new Tesla for cheaper than you could get him to narrate your book. But Jonathan McLean actually had somebody drop off of his schedule, and his assistant gave him your manuscript. And I think it's chapter 7 is titled, hey, I'm getting the hang of this murder thing. And he said that chapter title stuck out to him. And he was like, all right, I can get down with this.
You're going to be responsible for a bunch of weirdly titled chapters from now on.
Yeah. I love it. I'll take like the most out of pocket line from the chapter, and that's what I'll title the chapter. But yeah, he picked it up. And I've been in contact with him a few times, just through messages or whatnot. And he's the most humble, just good dude from the little bit of interaction I've had with him. When he got done, he sent me a message and he was like, hey, this was great. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I told my wife, I was like, I don't know if he's being genuine or not. I'm assuming he is, but just to get that message, like, so I went from never writing a thing in my life, and then within 2 years, had a published book, an audio contract, and Jonathan McLean narrating. And so at this point, if it ends tomorrow, I'm good.
You've got a couple bucket list items checked off. Right. I love it. Well, let me give everybody just a little understanding of the book itself, since it's out yesterday. Not too many people maybe have read it yet, but so this is a post-apocalyptic lit RPG. Pop, I told you yesterday that you would like it. It's centered around Andrew, a former engineer, and his best friend CJ. Andrew gets tapped to complete. Wow, words are hard. I'm a podcaster, folks. Andrew gets tapped to compete for Earth in the right of reaping, an intergalactic competition for newly assimilated worlds. He's basically the chosen one and gets the Havok suit of armor, which gives him lit RPG-like abilities and abilities to advance. Elvis is his AI that's in charge of his spaceship and my personal favorite character. And Elvis gets the power to consume other technologies to upgrade itself. He also has Tiff, a guardian who's aligned herself with a rebellious faction of the universe. So there's a lot of like, if you like global stakes, I wouldn't say that Andrew is the most OP character I've ever encountered in an RPG, but um, he is pretty powerful, and there's this like huge galactic stakes, a lot of different like races of aliens. They have basically a dungeon sort of crawl that they have to do. There's just a lot. There's a lot to this series. It's fast paced, post apocalyptic, universe level stakes. So all the things that we like in the genre. Yeah. Anything you would add?
Yeah, you know, you nailed it. In book one, Andrew, he's a normal guy, and he has this realization at the beginning of the book that he has an opportunity to be something more. Right, for the first time in his life, I think he said, not I think, but he says in the book is he he gets an opportunity to matter. And that's what this is, right? He has a choice. He can say, no, I'm not going to do it, or he's going to do it. And so he kind of dives in head first, not understanding fully what's happening and learning along the way. And the suit is definitely his biggest asset, but there's a lot about the armor that we don't learn in book one. I'll say that.
And it's got this like balancing property where there's some OP stuff to it, but then there's also the other side of the coin where there's some shortcomings in the armor too.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's handcuffed intentionally by Randy. And I love the interactions between him and Randy, who is the master system AI. That's the snarky kind of. I told my wife last night, I envision Randy as your stereotypical, like Discord mod guy that I hate to stereotype, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's the guy that like, this is his baby and he
it's
doesn't
his baby. He's very serious about it.
And Andrew and him go back and forth. So he intentionally makes things hard for Andrew. And it creates kind of a balancing act, right? And as Andrew is learning and he's realizing that like, hey, this is way more dangerous and there's way more at stake here than I first assumed. He's also consistently just getting handcuffed by Randy. And it really creates some fun moments throughout the book.
What's the skill? It's like, give it to me, daddy, or something like.
Yeah. So there's a scene in the book where Andrew, and I won't give too much away, but where Andrew disrespects Randy and literally pisses on his dungeon. And as kind of a clapback for that, when Andrew accesses his ability to use health stems, Randy makes him use a verbal command, and the command every time, and the verbal command is make me feel good, daddy.
Yeah, there you go.
He has to say, make me feel good, daddy, to use a health stem, and he has to say, baby needs his baba, to use a stamina stem. So there's times in the book where he is almost literally dead, and with his final breath, he has to say, make me feel good, daddy. It just it's
funny. Yeah.
Well, so there's a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it a little bit. I've already got a question from Doug. But first, your writing name is T.A.L. Deason. How would you like? You're coming to Lit RPG Con. If somebody's a fan, they come up to you. Do you want them to call you T.A.L? What would you prefer?
Yeah. So this is going to be something I deal with for a while. So it's T.A.L. So my name is actually Thomas. T.A.L. is my initials. But the publisher was like, the cover looks better without the periods. So I imagine I'm going to get a lot of T.A.L, and that's fine. Really anything.
You have been dubbed T.A.L for life. All right, so Thomas is maybe the preferred.
Yeah, I think I will have more trouble, explaining to people that it's not T.A.L than just going with it. So at this point, if somebody recognizes me or the book and says T.A.L, I'm gonna happily respond.
Yeah,
like,
you're just
it won't matter.
You're like, when I've been recognized.
Yeah, I'll take it. If you want me to
Yeah.
sign it T.A.L, I'll sign it T.A.L. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Well, Doug's first question is, he wants to know, is it crunchy or creamy? For those of you that are not familiar with Lit RPG, a crunchy book has more stats and numbers to it generally. Creamy is just, it's more story based. And I think the answer to this is going to be kind of fun. So this book 1 is, in my opinion, creamy, but it sounds like you've got an arc where it gets crunchier over time.
So Doug, I'm a fan of crunchy lit RPG. I love the stats. I love the growth. When I set out to write this book, I set out to write it as an introduction for people that are not deep into lit RPG. So it's definitely more creamy. It's more story and dialogue driven. The lit RPG elements are there, but I kind of built in to the story why it's not so crunchy. It's basically a training wheels protocol, right? The master system AI controls the advancement based on experience earned. And then as we get in, I was just talking to Reck earlier. I'm in book 3 now, writing that, and the lit RPG elements take a major jump in book 3. Frustratingly for me, it's proven challenging. But yeah, it's going to, as the story progresses and as Andrew grows, because he and Reck, you read the book, so you know that he's got kind of a specific element to his stats. He's got a level indicator that is not normal. So that ties into my idea for the entire story arc, which, if everything goes my way and we're successful enough, should be at least 12 books. And it'll be 4 arcs based on the power scale. And I'm not going to give away what it is because it's explained more in book 2. But yeah, so as we get into book 3, everything kind of flips on its head. And where the power scale was basically being doled out by Randy, and there was not a lot of thinking involved for Andrew. Now we find ourselves in book 3, and he's having to really understand how to dole out his stat points, how to grow his skills specifically, and what part is going to help him get stronger, faster, more defense, things like that. So my intention there was for people that are new to lit RPG to not be overwhelmed by a stat sheet every 5 pages, but also get enough of the lit RPG elements to say, okay, this is new, right? This is a new element of storytelling that I haven't been exposed to before. And it's fun. I see the numbers go up. I see the advancement, and I know what causes it. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of introducing newbies to lit RPG without overwhelming them in book 1.
I think so too. And then also, I mean, it's organic in that the character is new to this sort of progression in world too, so it's not overwhelming to the main character. I always find it sus to some extent when somebody's like, I've never played a video game in my life, but suddenly I'm like number crunching to figure out if my wisdom stat is high enough for this.
It's one thing that's a recurring theme that I've intentionally put into the book, and I'm hoping that people will catch on, because they did on Royal Road. Is there are so many times in book 1 and book 2 where Andrew will say he notices something new, and he'll say, I've got to talk to Tiff about that later. And he never does it. So we're in the middle of book 2, and he still doesn't understand aspects of his advancement because he's too busy playing video games or whatever. He's just kind of empty-headed when it comes to it. And, a lot of your hardcore lit RPG fans are saying, like, how does he not do it? And he's just a normal guy that got dumped into this. He's surrounded by super advanced technology. He has basically a holodeck that they can do whatever they want to do in. And he's just, all this is coming at him. Also, he's trying to save his world. And this is all within the span of a few months. And it's like, if you got dumped into an alien dungeon, a lot of the comments I got early was, why does he panic so much?
Yeah. You'd be
You wouldn't.
panicking, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fighting aliens
Yeah.
and you're naked and all these things are happening. You're gonna panic, bro.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So I think there's things that I've done in the book to intentionally aggravate some of the hardcore readers without turning them off, but like enough to keep them like there, but also.
Yeah. There's totally this element of lit RPG where people just want the OP. It's like OP 100% of the time, from the first breath in the new world. And I think as authors, I don't know about you, but I kind of am like resist that a little bit. I mean, you get that complaint about like The Wandering Inn and a bunch of the books in the genre. Yeah.
I like to read that. And listen, I will tell you, based on the arc that I have mapped out, at some point, I'll say this: in book 1, Andrew is grade P, right? And I won't spoil anything by saying this, but P stands for planetary, so he's a planetary threat. By the end of the arc, he will be a dimensional threat. So his power scale will grow exponentially between 1 and 12, but he's still learning right now. The threat is localized to his planet, right? And that's all he needs to be able to fight. So he does have some OP weapons and some things that he doesn't fully understand that nobody in the book understands. And truthfully, some of it is plot armor. It just is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's fun, and he's learning as he goes. And again, as we get into book 2 and 3, you will see some progression, but you also see kind of some of the stupidity that you see in book 1. Some of that never goes away, and that's just who he is. He's kind of a simple guy that. One of the things that he says repeatedly is it's the little things, right? He likes, as an engineer, like the door that slides smoothly into the wall with no noise, or those are the things that really interest him. And that's kind of how he thinks. He just thinks on a small scale, and he's overwhelmed with the large scale of what he's dealing with.
All the things that are happening. Yeah. Well, okay. So I've got a couple questions that have come through in the chat. Some of these should be fairly quick hits. So, was there any significance to Andrew being the name that you used for the main character?
Yeah, that's my middle name.
Okay, there you go. Quick.
T.A.L, Thomas Andrew Leon.
There you go, Doug. That's what the A is for.
Yeah, it felt kind of gross to name him Thomas. So
yeah, that's fair.
I went with Andrew,
Yeah. Sabri says, are there any regrets with the plot progression or character development in book 1?
Not the character development. The plot progression, I think, is good. As I'm listening now and for the 5th time, I think I can't give too much away. I'll say, for those who haven't read it or listened, there's a bad guy.
A really OP bad guy, like
a really OP bad guy, and I think he's a good bad guy. Like, I think he's good. Not a good person, but I think he's, as a character, he's a good bad guy.
He's a good bad guy, and I appreciated the fact that you didn't, like in a lot of our books, that OP bad guy is like shuffled into a corner that we just don't encounter them until later. You don't have that problem.
He keeps coming back repeatedly in the story, and I'm not going to give away why I'm disappointed with that kind of plot progression. I'll say I wish I would have gotten more out of him. I think it's the best way to say it. Now, he lives on in a way. He's dead. Well, I'm giving stuff away. He lives on.
Spoiler.
I'll say spoiler. He lives on in the series in a way, and you'll just have to wait for book 2 to find out how that works.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. But
it would be a pretty short series if he won in book 1.
Yeah, for sure. And even so, he's not the main bad guy, right? He is an arm of the bad group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked his character. But yeah, you'll just have to read to find out what happens there. But I wish
Yeah.
I could have had him in the book more. It just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And
At
he's in
some
there
point,
quite a bit.
you've got to end a book, right? I mean, you've
Yeah,
got a good,
yeah,
50 some chapters. So yeah.
yeah.
So
And it was tough.
Jay's pointing out to us that plenty of people complain about characters being too OP, and that is 100% true.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you just can't win. There's somebody's going to be like,
yeah. There's going to be complaints across the board. I found out. And look, I found out that's a good thing. If people are complaining, they're reading it. So
That's
I'll
true.
take it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That actually brings me to Doug's question about do you rage bait your readers? And Doug, maybe this is a strategy that we need to embrace more as a community of authors, rage baiting our readers a little
Yeah,
bit.
I didn't realize I was doing it until I started getting the same comment over and over from different readers on Roller Road. And then I was like, I tried to explain in the comments or have the conversation with them, and they just didn't care. So I was like, I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
It's not a story breaking element. It's like I said, it's more of just Andrew's kind of absent-minded sometimes.
Yeah.
And that drives people crazy. So I was like, he's gonna always be absent-minded now.
I want to do a thing at Lit RPG Con where we have authors read like they're like some funny like they do an SNL where like the actors read somebody like complaining about them or whatever.
Yeah.
I want us to read our Roller Road,
or like some rough ones on there.
I know. So think about what you would want to read, and we'll do a TikTok or something.
It took me a while to just start ignoring those because I tried to interact. You start getting comments, and you're like, "Hey, comments! I need to interact." And then you realize that, like, I don't know who these people are, but they never give up. They're gonna stand on that mountain of frustration and just never give in. So I eventually just had to start responding with, "Hey, thanks for reading. Sorry if whatever."
Yeah.
And then I would just take that comment and rage bait them in the book more. I was like, this is going to work better because I don't have to
feed it in.
Yeah, I don't have to comment. I'll just write.
You don't like my party banter? We're gonna triple down on party banter.
More of that, then.
Yeah.
Probably not the way to do it if you want to be super successful, but it's working. So
I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
They just don't know they like it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I was going to say I had a comment last week of a guy on like chapter 5, and he was like, "This is ridiculous." And then on like chapter 46, he was like, "This is the best online sci-fi I've ever read." And I'm like, what happened between chapter 5 and chapter 46, bro? Because you hated it.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Can you please update your review?
Right.
Yeah. It is funny. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the story. So you actually have, now that I'm thinking about it, you have like 3 sort of AI characters early on. So you've got Tiff, who we're not going to spoil Tiff's storyline, but there's Tiff, who's like this guardian that's supposed to help him out. There's Elvis, which is this ship that is fun and cantankerous, and Elvis and CJ have a lot of play off of each other. And then there's Randy, which is like the system level AI that has this, snarky daddy energy with him. Talk to me a little bit about, I mean, it's normally we get AI, not 3. So what was your reasoning there, and how did you, I feel like all 3 of those AIs are very like independent from each other.
Yes.
There's not a lot of crossover as far as like personality or anything. How did you go about structuring them?
So with Randy, Randy actually stands for Remote Autonomous Neural Dependent Intelligence, right? Yeah. So he's like a half physical, half AI, and he runs the entire system. And I needed something that would kind of be there to antagonize Andrew and keep him in check.
Mm-hmm.
Tiff is based on my wife. My wife's name is Tiff. And there's a chapter actually titled Galactic Social Worker, and my wife's a social worker.
Okay. Yeah.
And I kind of based, Tiff on her personality, but also, again, as I was building the story, you can't just dump a character into a world like that and expect them to know what's going on. So he needed a guide and a guardian, and there's a whole backstory there to why she's doing that. And it gets pretty deep into the politics of the galaxy with her storyline. But also she's learning to kind of be human around Andrew, and from Andrew. And we talked earlier. Andrew, the main character, is kind of based on I would say my work personality. I'm a little more serious.
Are you an engineer in real life?
No. I work for a energy drink company. So I've been in beverage sales for forever, and distribution and things like that. So not an engineer. But my dad, at one point, that was his goal, was he wanted me to be an engineer. So there's a little bit of that backstory in there. But Elvis is I guess if you met Drunk Thomas, that would be Elvis.
Got it.
So it's like a split personality of, like, this is my serious, go to work, be serious guy. That's Andrew. And then I don't care. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I want. Let's party. That's Elvis. But also, I just wanted him to just love violence, and that's his favorite thing in the world, is just fighting and killing and being violent.
He's got a BFG that he likes to use.
He's. I did. I named the large railgun on the ship. The ship's called the Bloodhound, and the large railgun, Elvis names it the Ron Jeremy. And he says it's because it's big, it's powerful, and it leaves a gaping hole wherever it hits. It's very juvenile, but hey, that's how Elvis is. So
it's part of the genre, right?
Yeah. Elvis loves everything Earth music, Earth action movies. He models his entire personality off of the Russian bad guys out of the 80s action movies. And there's several points in the book where they question, is Elvis smart? And he is. He's
very intelligent. He likes to put on that.
That's his thing. And again, I can't say it enough, but if when you get to hear what Jonathan did with Elvis and CJ's
I'm excited to listen to it.
It's amazing. Man. It is amazing. But he killed it. He killed exactly what I wanted Elvis to be. That's what he is. And I did a poll on Royal Road. By far, Elvis is everybody's favorite character. So I will say stick around for book 2.
More Elvis. Yeah.
A lot more Elvis.
Yeah. I love him. He's a hoot. And I know in some of the comments on us sharing, this stream tonight, you have a friend that CJ is kind of modeled after. Does Drunk Thomas and CJ have the same relationship as Elvis?
I think so, especially in a lot of the no. So Drunk Thomas is not violent, but he definitely will joke, and he's a lot more out there, right? CJ is actually based on Cody Jenkins, who's in the chat, and that's my best friend. And man, we've had some adventures over the years, and a lot of the dialogue.
Cody, blink twice if you need. Blink twice. Yeah, if you're in trouble.
It was, as somebody who had never written before, it was easy for me to write what you know, right? And I know my friends, I know my wife, and it was easy for me to write those characters because I knew them, right? So I feel like that the interactions between Elvis and CJ are obviously their comedic relief, right? There's intentional kind of friction there it's hilarious at times. It's funny. Elvis, I think he is a little bit threatened by CJ because he wants to be the guy for Andrew. Like he he
Yeah, it's
worships
like
Andrew.
who's the buddy, like who's the
Yeah,
BFF. Yeah.
right. So that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah. Somebody's asking for you to elaborate on your older brother's influence.
And it's my actual older brother.
I know,
Yeah, so he actually shows up in the epilogue. And I will tell you this. My brother was a submariner. So as I was writing the book, I got into a lot of the, in my mind, spaceships are going to have a lot in common with naval terminology and things like that. And he really helped me with a lot of the terminology and, also just a lot of the like put downs and what would sailors say to each other in this scenario. And, what do we call things on a ship? The bulkhead, the deck, forward, aft, all of that. And then even some of the combat terminology and things like that. So he was a resource that I went to a lot, and I'm sure he got tired of it. But he has one of the main storylines in the second book. So there's your payment. You got to be in the book.
Dun dun dun. All right, so older brother, we'll have to elaborate you in the book 2, interview and your role. So,
Yeah.
all right, I've got keep the questions coming. We've still got plenty of time, but I've got a few more questions of my own. Let's flip over to some more of the craft sort of questions. You talked a little bit about Royal Road and the need, like not the need, but like the commentary that people are having, on the book as you write and how motivating that is. Talk to us about your overall experience on Royal Road. It's crazy that you ended up there on a whim of just like Google.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I had never written anything, and I sat down and wrote the first chapter. And I don't think there's a better feeling in the world if you've never done it than to write the first chapter of something. And it was.
I don't know if I agree with that, considering how many times I've rewritten some of my first chapter. Maybe putting it out there once you arrive at it, but yeah.
Well, and that's another wild thing. I don't change anything after I write it other than basic edits.
Well, and that's what one of my questions was going to be, is the Amazon Audible edition of your book dramatically different? Is it fairly similar?
So what you read on Royal Road was the actual edited version that I re-uploaded. But all of the edits, there's no...
I was going to say there weren't that many grammar errors in it.
No. Grammar, it was basically 90% grammar on our editing. There was a few times the editor, pushed for, hey, maybe we could change this or that. And I was just like, no, man, this is how it came out. This is how it feels right to me. Unless you can give me a real reason why this needs to change. It comes out of my head. It goes onto the paper. And other than grammatical changes, that's just what it is. That's probably not the way to do it, but that's just how I do it. So the version on Royal Road is basically, outside of grammar, it's exactly the same as I wrote it.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you get into book 2 and 3 at this point, you'll see there's a lot of punctuation errors and some misspelled words and things like that, because I haven't uploaded those changes. But I would say 90 to 95% of how it was written is how it is in the book.
Okay. So it's mostly just adjustments based on, copy edit sort of stuff.
The only thing that I changed was the power scaling. But I changed that about halfway through the book because, like I said, I got to a point where it's getting too complex for me as a new writer to say, hey, I've never written before and I'm learning this, and I'm also having to build an entire power system. So I've got to choose one or the other. And I went with story. And I simplified the power system to, again, I knew if it was hard for me, it may be hard for a new reader. And I felt like this would be a softer introduction to the genre. And I don't think enough people know about lit RPG. So, there's enough really great, crunchy lit RPG out there that people will graduate to. That, like I said, I love. I love the really hardcore, crunchy lit RPG. This is not that. This is an introduction to the genre.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I tell people that lit RPG is actually, in a lot of respects, harder to write than like regular fantasy sci-fi, because you've got the story elements, and then you're like layering in the system and the crunchiness, and trying to have enough of that in there, have it work all the way through to the end of your story. And I think people just don't understand how hard that can be. So
it's
that's
tough.
why,
It's really tough.
Yeah.
So I think I'm finally there, but it'll be book 3 before you get into the really crunchy aspects of it.
Which is nice too, because then you can grab new readers, like new lit RPG readers, and progress them to the crunchiness that they're gonna encounter in the rest of the agenda, the genre. So it's good. Sabri says, I'm a librarian and I had no idea what lit RPG was. I actually encounter this a lot. Like I will you can like take your book to libraries and be like, hey, here's my book, do you want to carry it or whatever? And I get a lot of librarians that just don't understand what lit RPG is. They're like, and then you're like, it's like Dungeon Crawler Carl, which maybe isn't completely true depending on your book, but
it's help. Even on Amazon, when you're looking at when your book gets in there and what categories it's in, unless I'm missing it, it doesn't seem to be a lit RPG category on Amazon, which is wild.
No. Yeah, it is wild. It's I don't know. I think it's one of those things where this is one of my soapboxes of like, there's a whole swath of people that read lit RPG. And lit RPG is hotter than just general science fiction or fantasy in a lot of realms. And it's wild to me that, people don't have a better understanding of it. And it goes from like librarians to bookstores to, general public. That's why we need the TikTok army to help educate everybody. Yeah.
And I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see that change.
Yeah, I think so too. Sure. And it's nice that DCC's hit so hard, although it's hard for everybody else to live up to DCC.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But I think also that's also a good soft introduction. Like, I think it's right in the middle of it's not too hardcore into the aspects, but you get a lot of the gaming elements, achievements, and things like that. And also the writing and the narration is just top notch, right? Yeah. So it's entertaining, even if you don't fully understand the lit RPG elements. It's so entertaining, regardless.
I love this.
There's Tiff.
Love it, Tiff. You guys were meant for each other. Doug's saying crunch is what derailed him for a half hour today as he tried to create a formula to dynamically track something that changes every chapter. I'm like, yeah. I feel that in my soul, Doug.
Just do like me and give up, Doug, and simplify it. Yeah. That's what I did.
My spouse read Tommy's book, I'm Not the Hero, and they were like, is this seriously a whole page of math?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And then when you're listening to it, it's like, again, again, we're gonna do that.
What we need in audio is like a creamy version. This sounds so bad. A creamy version of every lit RPG crunchy book, so that we don't have to, for us audio listeners. So
MC gained a level and increased this or that. Like, let's just simplify everything that doesn't change. Just leave it out.
Some of the OG books with the tables that people, I feel for those narrators are fighting for their lives reading these tables. So.
Well, even like Primal Hunter, man. Primal Hunter goes hard on some of the stats, and it's so repetitive and so long. Again, I like it, but it does. If you just pick that up and you've never listened to lit RPG, you're gonna be like, why am I listening to math?
What is going on? Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I remember listening to The Land like way back, and I listened to books at night generally. My spouse woke up and it was like, ding, you have found a torch. And they're like, what in the hell are you listening to? I'm like, it's, I don't know. It is a little bit of a cult. So all right, so my next question for you is, what advice would you give yourself? I don't know how long you've been writing. A year ago when you were first thinking about writing Havok Bringer? 2 years. 2 years. Okay. What advice would you give yourself when you were just starting to sit down at the keyboard for that first chapter?
I was talking to my wife about this question, and I told you about my journey. It's just I feel like I've lucked into several opportunities that maybe I shouldn't have. either way, I got them. I took them.
Yeah, no, grab them with both hands.
Yeah, and I think if I went back now, I can remember, day one thinking this is fun. This is just going to be an outlet, right? I'm excited about it, but I'll post on Royal Road. Maybe I'll get 100 followers. And that turned into close to 1,000, several 100,000 views. And if I had to go back today, I'd say just do it the way you did it, man. Like, I still to this day, I'm like, okay, I'm at the point where I've got an audiobook with a great narrator, and I'll still tell myself, if I sell 10 copies, that's something, right?
Yeah.
And who knows? It's at this point, I have continued to exceed what I thought was possible. So it's been fun. Like I've never been disappointed because I haven't expected to achieve any of the things that I have in 2 years. And I've gone from writing one chapter to now I'm on my third book, and it's wild to think about, but I would say just enjoy the ride, man, because I wouldn't change a thing, honestly.
Yeah.
And I know there's a ton of, I get into the TikTok holes with people that are writing and they're struggling with, do I query an agent and do I do this and trad publishing and all that? And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. Like, I have no patience or desire to do that. So the way that it worked out for me is the best possible way that it could have.
Yeah.
And I try to not watch those videos because they get depressing. But
yeah,
I've got a book. I've got an audiobook. I'm very happy with it. I've got a narrator that I never could have imagined I would have.
And you don't just have an audiobook, and you don't just have you have a damn good book, man. Like it's solid.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, I think everybody, whether you're on Reddit or TikTok or, Instagram, everybody wants like the secret, which buttons do I press to get the secret success or whatever.
Yeah.
And we all probably just need to just like relax because there's a little bit of, there's tenacity and there's doing it. And then there's a little bit of luck and, things work out.
Yeah,
right?
All those things. So I don't think I would change a thing. I don't think I'd tell myself anything different. I'd just say, hey, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, man.
Well, folks, hit me with the questions. We've got like 10 minutes left. I've got a few that I skipped over because we were talking. So I'm going to go back to some of our questions that we had planned. But if you've got any questions, hit us up and we'll get them asked. Looks like Jonathan was like listening to your book today, and you might have disrupted a meeting.
That's all right. That's my other brother. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Gets fired.
Sometimes you just got to stop working.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the point of view of the book. So a lot of lit RPG follows a kind of a single point of view. This book's a little unique. For the most part, you follow Andrew's point of view, but you do have these moments where you hop around to, I think there's like a chapter that's from Tiff's point of view. There's a couple chapters on some of these alien factions. Talk to me about your strategy there.
Yeah, so I wanted to stick mainly with Andrew's POV, but also I knew I wanted to set up things for future books because, again, without getting too much into it, book 2 expands drastically. You go from basically one storyline to 4 storylines. And I needed to really kind of create, from Tiff's perspective, the motivation for why she was doing what she was doing, but also set up what's going on outside of what Andrew's dealing with. Because I knew that, again, I had an arc in mind for the entire story, and I needed to plant seeds for what would happen in future books. And in future books, things get much, much bigger. So I needed to introduce some of the other factions. We touch on the Galactic Council, the COAS, that are kind of the architects of the dungeons. And then Tiff's POV specifically was just to create that link between what's happening with Andrew and everything going on with the Galactic Rebellion and the Council. So she's the link between their little group and their struggle and what's happening in the wider galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah. You do a good job too of having this moment where you're like, well, whose side is Tiff really on? Like, where do her loyalties lie? And where is the Galactic Rebellion really trying to, is this somebody that we want to go in on or not? Yeah. Jonathan wants to know if you are nervous about meeting your potential fans and doing like signings, merch, that kind of stuff in the future.
Yeah, I'm not, because I don't even know how that works.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure at some point we talked about Lit RPG Con, and that's something I want to be at, and I think we're going to be there, me and my
Absolutely.
wife.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to act if I meet somebody that's actually read the book outside of friends and family, and somebody's like, "Oh, you're the guy that wrote this book." I'm just going to be like, "Look, I'll sign whatever. You want to sign your baby? I don't care."
Somebody,
I'll probably be super excited. Yeah.
There was somebody that had. There's been some wild sightings at Lit RPG Con last year. It's gonna be that's
so
awesome.
I don't know. And then book signings and stuff. I don't know how any of that works. Like I said, I'm still just surprised I'm here. So luckily I've got a good group of people in our Discord that are willing to answer questions and help give direction and also encouragement, and that's helped a ton. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You're gonna have to start practicing your T.A.L. signature over and over again. Get your
that's the thing I haven't done at all. So
you're gonna have to start practicing. Yeah. All right. Doug wants to know if you have a catchphrase. He says many book series have a catchphrase that becomes their thing. Do you have one that you're hoping that the series will become known for?
I've thought about that. With Andrew, I think one of the things that he says a few times in book one that carries over into the next few books is it's all about the little things, right? He, in different scenarios, that's, to me, that's an important one for him, because it does kind of ground him of like, even with all this wild, crazy stuff going on, he still just kind of got this childlike curiosity about the little things that to us as humans may not seem little, or they may be futuristic tech, but to everybody that lives in that world, it's like, this is a door.
It's another Tuesday. Yeah.
Right. And there's several times in the book where he gets mocked about that. But no, I don't have a catchphrase at this point. I think if anybody gets a catchphrase, it's going to be Elvis.
Your catchphrase is going to be like, "Give it to me, Daddy." Like, it's going to be.
It could be that, right?
It's going to be one of Randy's phrases.
It'll probably be something that I don't want to be associated with the catchphrase for the book, like "Make me feel good, Daddy."
Yeah.
That will be the one that catches on because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. We got our next question is if this blows up on Netflix, who plays Andrew?
Ryan Gosling, 100%. I talk about him in the book, like, of course. No,
there you go.
I think who knows? I would. That's so far out of my mind. Who's going to voice Elvis? Jonathan McClain, 100%. Like, I wouldn't change a thing with how he does it. I think let's sell some books first.
Yeah. Brian says, "Give it to me, Daddy." T-shirts available in the Beyond Quest merch store. We'll just put Brian in charge of our merching. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Tiff says, "I knew he'd say Ryan Gosling." That's Thompson's man crush. There we go.
Handsome dude. Handsome dude.
Yeah. Who isn't pining after Ryan Gosling a little bit?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, all the Ryans in general, but he plays jazz guitar. Who doesn't love Ryan Gosling?
Yeah. All right. So next thing you said, book 2's done and edits. Do you have a release date-ish planned?
So edits are actually done. Artwork should be happening. I'm supposed to return the artwork form to them. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I've just been busy. Jonathan actually is asked like when he's going to get it, because he's ready to start on it. It's due out in November, so not too far off. I think November 18th is the date.
Not bad.
And then book 3 will be April of 27.
Especially getting on McLean's like schedule for that sort of release. That's great.
Yeah. I know. So hopefully everything works out. I know he's a busy guy. It's done, so I'm assuming I probably shouldn't assume too much, but I'm assuming the publisher's working with Podium to make sure the window works. So if everything works out, it'll be mid-November for book 2, and book 2 is quite a bit longer than book 1. Book 1 came in about 12 hours on audio. I would say book 2 will be about 20 to 22.
Whew. Okay.
So it's a much bigger book.
Yeah. That's quite the jump. You're gonna get people in with this reasonably length of book, and then slap them with that 200,000 word.
I know.
I love it.
I think it's a good enough story that to keep them interested, though.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. But right now, if folks, if you get through the audio, you can catch book 2 on Royal Road, so you don't have to stop.
Yeah.
You just that's the beauty of Royal Road in general, is that you get it as soon as it's there.
If you want it that bad, it's there. And I'm still posting for book 3. I'm on chapter 14, and I'll write a chapter and post it immediately. So as I finish the chapters, they go right up.
Yeah. Well, 2026, it sounds like you're probably going to be at Lit RPG Con.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
I think we decided today we'll be there. We kind of worked out that we've got somebody to watch. Thomas Jr.
You've got another one, guys.
Yeah, I really do want to be there and just kind of experience it and make some contacts and just see again, I'm new to this world. So meeting new people and building relationships and networking, like that's super important. And then just also meeting, like I've seen the people that are going to be there, like it'd be wild just to get to see some of those people in person. So
yeah, it's cool. And I mean, Lit RPG Con is amazing because you'll just be hanging out in the lobby, and everybody's there. You're just hanging out. Some of my best friends in the author community, we just sit next to each other on a couch.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm Reck. Who are you? What books have you read? Yeah. So yeah, BJ, we've got another one. We're gonna have to bring all of our Havok Bringer books so Thomas can sign them for us.
Yeah. I don't know what the signature will be. I'll have to work that out.
Yeah, you have to figure it out. Like first edition signatures.
Hey,
yeah,
could be worth 50 or 60 cents one day.
There you go. Well, if we're a fan, where can we find you online? What do you have? Patreon, Facebook? Where do you want us?
I never set up my Patreon. I'm not consistent enough to deal with it, and I never thought I'd make $1 on this, so I wasn't worried about it. Still consider myself a hobbyist too. I guess I should.
You got it. Yeah.
That.
I mean,
but
you're a published author now.
Yeah. Facebook. You can find me. I've got a T.A.L. Deason page, but honestly, I just post
CJ
mostly
says
on
OnlyFans.
Only feet.
There you go.
Under Make Me Feel Good Daddy. No, it'll be just Thomas Deason on Facebook. That's my personal page, but that's where I post mostly. Instagram, TD84, because I'm old. My daughter reminds me that I was born in the 1900s, which is wild because it's true.
I know. Yeah, I've got a couple years on you too. So
yeah, I still feel young. TikTok, T.A.L. Deason. I have to actually look. I post pretty consistently on there. And then I'm on Reddit too, T.A.L. Deason. T.A.L. on TikTok. So I'll post a lot there about just kind of my process and the journey, and then a lot of videos of my dog. It's a mix. You get to see a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, I love it. I think I recently followed you on over there too, so you'll have to join some lives with me at some point.
Sure. For sure. Let me know.
Okay, so so we do this segment where Pop, I think everybody knows Pop at this point. But I asked people, if you could add a book or two to Pop's TBR, what would you add to it?
So I actually wanted to ask you, because I think I told you I don't know. Being fairly new to this world, I don't know what books are like super pop. The first book that I listened to on audio and that I still love. It's hard sci-fi. It's not lit RPG. It's called Blind Sight by Peter Watts.
Okay.
If you haven't heard of it, it's a very
Is it SITE or
SIGHT,
GHT?
and it's a different take on vampires in the future, where vampires are kind of brought back to life, but they're like super advanced. It's basically if you had a lion. Vampires are lions, humans are dogs, right? Like they're so far advanced, and he does a really good job of tying in aspects of the mythology of like crosses, right? Crosses herd vampires, but it's really that their eyes are built in a way where right angles affect them.
Okay.
But anyway, the vampire is the captain of a spaceship, and the crew are all humans, and they get sent on this mission, and all the humans are concerned that the captain is going to turn on them and eat them.
Yeah.
But it's not fun. It's a dark book, but it's very interesting.
Okay.
And then I would say just the entire it's not lit RPG, but it's what really got me interested in writing, and it's another sci-fi, the Expeditionary Force series by Craig Allenson. It's I wouldn't say it's hard sci-fi. There's a lot of comedic elements. There's an AI character named Skippy, and I think it's on book 19 now.
I've seen ads
really
for the Expeditionary Force, but I haven't picked it up yet. Yeah.
And then I would say the first lit RPG that I read is by J.T. Wright, and The Land of the Undying Lord. And it's about basically this kind of an NPC that gets adopted by this girl, and she doesn't want him. And he ends up being super, super powerful. It was just a great like introduction to lit RPG.
Was that the first one that you read in the genre?
Yeah, first one that I listened to. And then obviously, Dungeon Crawler Carl, He Who Fights with Monsters, Primal Hunter, all the big ones, right? And then recently I've just been listening to Mayor of Newtown just because Jonathan's the narrator, and it's really good. But yeah, I bounce all over the place, really. If it's sci-fi, fantasy, or lit RPG, I'm going to give it a shot.
You're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are some great recommendations. We'll get them on Pop Pop's Never Ending TBR.
For sure.
But yeah, check them out, folks. Any last words for tonight? Otherwise, we'll let folks go. We've hit the hour. I try not to go longer than an hour because.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate everybody that showed up, and I appreciate the support. Thanks for having me on. It was good to finally get to talk to you from besides on Discord.
Yeah, we've been chatting on Discord.
Yeah. And I appreciate just you and all the guys from Discord, Jay and Tommy and Doug, and just like taking me in like day one and answering questions and encouraging and all the things. It's made a big difference in just kind of the last few months of this journey for me and getting ready to launch the book, and then also just having a group of people that have experienced all this. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the fold. I can't wait to meet you in person at Lit RPG Con. I think we're all gonna have a lot of fun. My brain just went to like the after hours at RPG Con and meeting Elvis too. It'll be fun. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been great having you. You've got a fantastic book, man. Welcome to the official Lit RPG author. I don't know. There's nothing official, but welcome.
Right.
And yeah, it's exciting to have you here. Can't wait to read book 2 and to listen to the audio. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
If you guys are listening still, feel free to follow Beyond Quest with Reck. I interview progression and lit RPG authors. So if you want to learn more about the authors in the genre in general, stay tuned. My next podcast is going to be Saturday. I'm going to be interviewing Rachel Cooper, Aoife Way, and Alex about their book Battle Barge. which has been fantastic. It's a cultivation lit RPG where the two main characters get isekai'd into a kind of Eastern cultivation world. So it's a lot of fun. Join me on Saturday. I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully I'll talk to you guys then. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.